You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Well, what up, man? This is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, we're going to be getting into some geekiness. Listen, we're going to be talking about aliens, mice, robots, whole bunch of wild, crazy stuff. I can't wait because the person we have here, he is a producer, he's a director, he's a comic book creator, he's a universe builder. He got some dope shows that has made me dive back into some of my own fandom. This guy has made me spend money. All right. But you know what? I still love him. Let me introduce the man, the myth, the legend, the uber geek himself, Mr. Brian Volk-Weiss. Wepa, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. That is literally the greatest intro of my life. So thank you. That's that. I wish I had recorded that.
But listen, don't you worry. You download it on YouTube. Check it out there. Go ahead. Feel free to clip it. I'll give you permission. Because listen, you are a boss. You are a legend. It's true. I mean, the shows that the toys that made us and all that, bro, and the things that you put together, those stories, man. I have a shelf back there that's just full of Skeletors. You know, and I got first editions and the newer ones, and all because of that one show you did. I was like, that a newfound love, like this guy. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. But we're gonna roll it back for some people who just may not know just a little bit of the origins of your geekdom. I'm always curious about that when we talk to people, right? So, where you OG from, and the first thing that you fell in love with that kind of led you on the path of nerddom and geekdom.
From New York City, from Queens, and
Queens.
That's right.
Where?
Flushing.
Oh, Flushing. Oh, no doubt. I was in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. There we go. We weren't too far apart.
That's right. We maybe we knew some people in common.
Cemetery.
No, I was born in 76, which was the perfect year. It was like the perfect year to see Star Wars, but it was also the perfect year to not understand what Star Wars was because I was so young. I didn't fully get what movies were.
Yeah.
And it was funny. My mom was starting to get freaked out because people were asking her, like when people would ask me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Dead serious, like not trying to be funny or anything. I was like, oh, I think I'll join the rebellion. I'd like to fly an X-Wing. And it started to like really freak out my mom, who was like a scientist and like all this shit. So she bought me this book that was the making of Star Wars for like 5-year-olds. And it was like, I'll never forget. I saw that picture of Anthony Daniels with his mask off, and I'm like, oh, it's a human. It's not a robot. I saw a model of the Death Star, and it was 10 feet wide. It wasn't the size of the moon. And that was it. It's ever since then, that's all I've wanted to do.
Oh, wonderful. But were you surrounded with fellow geeks, or were you kind of a lone wolf?
I was definitely a lone wolf. I was an only child. And I think, I get asked every now and then, why do you think toys are so important to you compared to other people? And my only theory is it was because I was an only child. Yeah. And go ahead.
No, you're onto it because I'm not an only child, but the gap in between my brothers and I is kind of big. So, I was lonely as a kid, you know what I mean? So toys were my go-to, my imagination. This is why I love this shit so much. And then when my brothers did come along, I taught them the way. But again, it was that gap. So that loneliness in childhood, yeah, I get that. You bro, you are on to something there. I agree 100.
Yeah, so it's funny. People that have siblings are always like, how big of a deal is it to be an only child? And listen, when you're in school, it's not that big a deal. It's the weekends. It's the 3-day weekends. It's the vacations. Like that's when you're like, yeah, it's just me and these two old people. So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna play with my toys.
I get you. I'm gonna, I was older, so it's like, I'm not gonna chill with a 3-year-old, and I'm like 12 and shit. You know what I mean? Like, not quite a good look. They're definitely gonna bully this kid. I ain't changing diapers in the middle of the street now.
Yeah, exactly. It's way worse.
Awesome. So when did you get into that creative energy, if you will? It started like going forward. I want to start messing around. And who really pushed you on that?
I got my first video camera like when I was probably about 15, and I started shooting little crappy movies with 2 VCRs, like manually rewinding.
VCRs. Oh my God!
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's ancient language. I know.
That's right. But it I'm inclined to say, but it worked, but it kind of didn't. I mean, it was pretty bad. Let me just say, my mom was not very supportive of this dream.
Papa bought you the camera? Who bought you the camera then? Was it Papa?
It's funny, man. It's funny. It's funny. No one's ever asked me that before. I went to this summer camp in Massachusetts, a YMCA, and there was a family that I did a homestay at, which is what you did when you were older. And they had an...
What do you mean? What's that?
So basically, the way this camp worked, right before you became a counselor, you would do like an international trip. So mine, very luckily and crazily, was Japan. So I went to Japan when I was 15.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And the YMCA, like they were the best. I mean, they covered like 95% of the trip.
What?
And you went to like, and it was literally like a cultural exchange. So Japanese kids came here. Oh, it was crazy. Let me just leave it at that. But one of the families that I stayed with was this family in Osaka, and they had an old camera. And I was like, oh my God, a camera, because they had a new camera they were using.
Yeah.
The dad was like, well, we have one in the closet we don't use. And he just gave me his camera. Oh. And by the way, like I said, no one's ever asked me this before, so I've never told this before, but like everything was in Japanese. So like when you were looking through the viewfinder, all the shit was in Japanese. The instructions were in Japanese. So I went to a kid I knew who was Japanese. He didn't speak it, but his mom did. And his mom translated the important parts of the manual for me.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to memorize the symbols so that when I was filming and some Japanese characters started shooting at me, I had memorized, that means low battery. That one means low light. So that's literally how I made my first films.
You inadvertently learned Japanese while making your first flick. I love it. I'm so happy I asked that. Yeah, see, I love this is what I mean. This is why I love learning about the origin. So bless that family. Little do they know the journey we're gonna go on, huh?
Yeah, that was my first camera. And to answer your other question, nobody ever pushed me. I always pushed myself. I was very lucky or unlucky, depending on how you want to look at it. I view myself as lucky, but you could look at it differently. I never really had any like mentors or role models that I knew. Like I always looked up to George Lucas. I always looked up to Spike Lee. Like there were always these people, but I didn't know them, So later in life, I would meet George Lucas. I actually worked with Spike Lee. So that was all great. But yeah, nobody ever pushed me. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect my mom, but she was from a family where everybody went to college and got master's degrees or became doctors and shit.
Brian, as a Latino and in Latino culture, the arts is meaningless to them. That you don't make money from it. That's not art. That's not a job. That's not money. So, unfortunately, parents don't understand that there is money in artists. Only later in life, maybe some of them come to realize when they see what's going on now, when they see kids making $100,000 on YouTube. Like, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, now you understand?
Well, it's so two things to that. One is I think there's money in passion. So it's not that there's money or not money in arts or other things. I think if you could be a doctor, you could get your degree, but if you're not passionate about it, you're probably not going to do that good. Whereas you could not go to college, be passionate about fucking going to the zoo and painting animals, whatever. And you could find a way to make money doing that because you're passionate. That's the beauty of our system.
So passion is energy. So when you put out a good frequency,
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
But to your point, it's so funny. So my dad was a judge, and he told one day, I'd been out here for like 5 or 6 years in LA, and my dad was like, I was talking to him, and he was like, I was at lunch today with the other judges, and they were all complaining about all their kids needing money. And I suddenly realized you've never asked for money. So it made me realize, like, you're doing okay.
I have a good kid.
Dad. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah. But it didn't occur to him until I was in my late 20s that maybe this shit would work.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Even my father right now is realizing the things that I do. And he told me, there was one day last year, last year summer, before I moved in on my own, I had to stay with them for a little bit while I saved some cash, right? So I was interviewing an actor, and my father, dead ass, just comes into the camera. What are you doing? And goes like this. And I'm like, oh my God, Dad, what are you doing? He passes gas in front of them. I'm like, oh my God, Dad, I'm live. I'm not recording. And like, oh, really? What do you mean you're live? I said, oh.
I predict one day my daughter will be telling a similar story about me. And by the way, I hope you take this as a compliment. I already like your dad. That's my kind of dad.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. I said, Dad, he likes his Tarzan stuff. Like you, okay, but he was Tarzan before. Okay, tell him I like him. All right, Dad. You're crazy. He's funny. Yeah, he didn't give a shit, but then he started noticing, oh, wow, you're talking to cool people. I'm like, yeah, I told you. All right, keep on doing it, son. I thank you, Dad. That's something. I accept that. Thank you. So, all right. So now I want to talk about your comic book geekiness, because you're talking about all this movie stuff and all, because and you are kind of tied into a movie comic, if you will, with Marvel. But what were your first loves in comics itself? Did you find comics at all? When did that even happen? If you got access to it?
It's interesting. It kind of happened in two different ways. The more traditional, normal way was G.I. Joe and Transformers. So
big fan.
I remember vividly getting G.I. Joe #2. I don't know if you remember this or not, but
the winter cover.
Yes, with the big blue thing in the middle, the robot. That's right. G.I. Joe 1 and 3 was easier to get. Pretty easy, actually.
Yeah.
For some reason, G.I. Joe 2 was hard. So that was very traditional. Like, I love playing with the toys. Why wouldn't I love the comics, right? The other thing that happened, and this was like, I think I was in the 7th grade, and this was the beginning of me getting more into like a traditional comic book world. I got mugged walking home from school one day.
What?
At that point. No. And I was very scared. It was not the best.
Yeah, in Queens?
Yeah, in Queens. Yeah, going right up Burnside, right next to Austin Street.
On Austin, I used to work in the Seatown on Yellowstone back.
Oh my God, dude! I used to
answer each other.
Dude, I used to make money I would meet people leaving and offer to unload their carts into their cars.
Yeah, we may have met. You never know. I worked there circa 92 all the way to about 95.
I did it like probably 88 to 94. You know who else did it, by the way? First time I met him, just like you and me right now, same thing happened with me and Tracy Morgan. First time he did it too. He did the same thing too. That's how we made money.
And now look, let's complete the triangle. I went to a comedy club once, right? We had to sit on the front. We're the only Latinos in the place. Every comedian was making fun of my table, my mean face, my ex-wife's big titties, my Latino cousins looking like Jewish people, apparently, because of their names, Edna and Ivan. And next thing you know, Tracy Moore comes out of nowhere, does a set. He does everybody around us, leaves us alone. We go outside. Oh, what a great show. He pulls up on us, rolls down the window. He's like, yo, you guys enjoy the show? I said, oh, shit, yo, thank you. Listen, I saw the abuse. I said, nah, they ain't going to treat my people that way. I said, oh, man, Tracy, thank you. Look at that shit. Triangle.
That's beautiful. That sounds like Tracy. That's beautiful.
It was awesome, bro. I appreciate that so much. He saw the abuse. I'm like, wow, we got abused that night. Let me tell you. After front table, never do it.
So you don't sit at the front table. That's the lesson.
We had no choice. Got there late.
But no, what happened to me after I got mugged was I basically fell in love with Batman. Like it was like an outlet that like showed you can fight back. You can get justice, which I personally didn't get in my mugging. But I fell in love with Batman, and that led me, of course, to The Dark Knight Returns in year one. And that was it. That was the gun at the race.
That's another thing in common we have. You remember the Biggie album that came out and the skit with the train robbery?
Sure, of course.
That was me. That happened to me on the G train.
On the
Between 21st Street going to G, when they had the tinted windows in between the trains back in the day.
Yeah, sure.
Would you believe we all got mugged? Somebody got pistol whipped and there was 3 cops on the next car, but because of the tins, they didn't see what was happening.
I remember those. That's the second time today you've given me goosebumps. First was when you brought up King Cullen. Now I forgot they used to. They used to shade those windows.
Yeah. We were getting robbed, and there were 3 in the next car. We pulled the brake because they ran out, and when we saw them, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Yo, I just had 2 guns to my head, a pistol and a 45 like this. They were trying, and my boy, he saved my life. He's like, Al, shut the hell up. He's giving me shit. I'm like, all right, okay.
That's a good one. That's a good. I know this is not the purpose of this interview, but I had a similar thing with knives and a crowbar.
Oh my God.
It was the E or the F at Lex. Yeah. When I was about 15. Yeah.
Look at this poor guy. That's the worst violence he's ever had in his life. He's got stung by a mosquito, apparently.
You're a lucky man, Jens.
All right. So, we're talking all this craziness. You know why? Because that is the craziness of what you're doing with, something you got out right now. Before we get into this whole universe that you got going on elsewhere, I want to get into this Marvel stuff you're doing right now with this book right here, yo. What If Aliens, bro? A gorgeous cover, by the way. Jesus Christ. I mean, let's start digging into your aliens fandom. You know what I mean? And what we got going on here. I got 2 more covers to show you. 2 fishes, 2 and 3, folks. Woo! So let's start talking about it. What's popping, brother?
So it's like a dream. I'm going to tell you an honest answer, but I feel like I'm lying to you. This is so crazy. There is a pretty famous writer out here named Adam F. Goldberg, and he and I were working on a show together. One day at the end of our call, he said to me, "Hey man, just so you know, I every now and then write comic books for Marvel." So I had a Zoom today with our publisher, with our editor, and she told me, "Hey, just so you know, Bob Iger is putting pressure on us to do more with the Fox library. So if you have any ideas on what to do with the Fox library, let me know." So Adam told me that story, And like this, I was like, dude, I got it for you. And it's 4 words. He's like, okay. I go, what if Burke lived?
Oh.
He knew immediately what I meant. Like, he didn't ask who's Burke, what's a Burke. He goes, dude, that's brilliant. I'm going to call you right back. He called me back 2 hours later, which in Hollywood, that might as well be a billionth, trillionth of a second. Yeah. He's like, dude, they're in. They want to do it. And I got to give a lot of respect to all the other writers, Paul Reiser, Leon Reiser, Hans Rubinoff, Adam. All I did, other than having the original idea, all I did after we did the deal with Marvel, I called my old friend Paul Reiser. I'm like, hey, do you want to do this? He said yes. And then 2, if you read the comic books, every now and then you'll see a quote from one of the movies. That was my involvement. Every single thing else was written by my quote unquote co-writers. I hate calling them co-writers because I didn't really write anything. I just suggested quotes, but that's how it came about.
And look how dope. I mean, amazing, right?
Yeah, I'm very biased. Yeah.
How much fun was it though? And how was the creative process? Like, how engaging was it? I mean, because again, this is a universe, so, and this is the what if. So, how much fun did you have? Like, when you said what if Brooke lived, and like, what were you thinking already? I mean, what was the seed of that idea?
Well, the seed was Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Did you see it in the theater?
No, I did not.
That was one of those times my family would go to the theaters back in the day before the VCR. When the VCR came out, the movie theaters died in my family.
And not just your family.
Oh,
no,
it was a New York thing, I guess. All right, there you go.
I was 10 when it came out, so it was a little scary for me. So I probably didn't see it till I was probably 14 or 15, but it literally became one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And I always know they never showed Burke dying. Then, of course, over the years, I heard they had shot a scene where you actually see that he survived and was like cocooned. Okay. So I always had that at the back of my head. And I always loved the character, always. So it was just, I always had that idea. Like, so it's not like when Adam said that to me, I just thought of it off the top of my head. I'd had that idea for at least 1.5 decades.
So, this is what I dig here, because normally the what if is left for the comics, the comic book characters, the comic book universe. How the hell are you convince them to do a what if for a movie franchise? Because I love the idea. There's so many. I can't wait to see a what if for something else already. I don't even want to say it here right now because I will talk about it later. I'm like, oh my god, if you guys did this, I think the what if within the whole 20th century Fox universe is going to be insane.
Yeah, we actually didn't pitch it as a what if. We pitched it as a canon story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then they, about halfway through the process, told us it would be a what if. I could care less. The whole thing was a dream, and I could give a shit. We could call it whatever they want. And we just rolled with it. Yeah.
I love it. And folks, you can go check out the aliens right there at Marvel. I have the links also in the notes below. I'm making life easy. You know how we do a comic crew, you know what I mean? So you go ahead, you better buy this because, I know y'all getting y'all tax money. So make it rain on these creators and show this love. Because this an aliens what if, yo? Oh my God! But this guy, because we're about to get into more right now. This is about everything. I can't wait. Now we're really gonna start getting into it because homie here is bringing back some crazy old school stuff right now. Because I've been showing this name right here, right? The Nacelle Toys Nacelle Company. Now before I show this dope little trail we got here, giving us an intro into the Nacelle was, in your own words, what is Nacelle? Am I pronouncing it right?
Perfectly. By the way, you know what always cracks me up, man, is the people that don't pronounce it right never ask, did I say it right? And the people that say it right always say, did I say it right? And you said it perfectly. The Nacelle verse, so the name of our company is Nacelle. We, about 3 years ago, started buying the copyrights to toys and cartoons from the 80s and 90s, like RoboForce, Biker Mice from Mars, Sectors, Power Lords, Garloo, which I know is technically from the 60s, Cowboys and Moo Mesa, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if you're familiar with this thing called the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I noticed that it seemed like a good idea for Iron Man to introduce the Hulk, who introduced Thor, who introduced Captain America. And I'm like, we could do that. Why not? And that was the idea. And that's what it is. We have RoboForce, the cartoon, in production right now. We're doing that with Dwayne, with The Rock. And then we're doing Biker Mice from Mars. That's also in production.
Oh, my brother Daniel Black is so excited for that project. I mean, did you hear? I said, I know. And then I told him, I said, yeah, I'm talking to the man, bring this all this back together. Oh my God, tell him, yo, please, just kill it. That's my shit, bro. Make me happy. So, but I already know you're a fan because you have that. I mean, look at this guy's wall behind him. That's not even a people thing, guys. That's some real Jones right there. So let me start off this trailer, and we're gonna get more into what we're talking about here. All right.
In the depths of the future, from unknown corners of the cosmos, emerges a universe where heroes and villains collide to create the Nacelleverse. These worlds are united to create 6 seasons of unforgettable stories. RoboForce, Biker Mice from Mars, Sectars, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, The Great Garloo, and Power Lords. Ruled by good and threatened by evil, as the Nacelleverse legend grew, each hero fought to maintain peace throughout their universe, until a looming darkness attacked the system. Rising together, these are the stories of a legion of heroes, their missions across the galaxy, and their battle against the forces of evil. Their first chapter begins in Nacelleverse Issue 0, a double-sized comic book milestone, coming soon to a comic book store near you.
Oh my God, that RoboForce brings back so many memories. Oh my God, Sectors, Power Lords, everything, bro. I mean, what are you doing here? Why those? I mean, how did you even know they were real? Teach, bro. I mean, don't give us away all your secrets, but I mean, but why those specific brands that you're bringing into your particular universe?
Well, it really comes down to like it's more than this, but there's really 2 main variables behind every IP that we acquire. The first is, are we passionate about that IP? So I love robots. I love lasers. I love guns. I love robots fighting each other.
Yeah.
RoboForce. I have a pretty big toy collection. I have had a shelf that I started, by the way, building in college of RoboForce. I have almost every single RoboForce anything ever made, not just the toys, the napkins, the party hats.
We gotta hang out, bro. It's all right, bro. Put mittens on me. I won't touch anything if you want. Yeah, please. I gotta check this collection. That was my joint as a kid.
But everything. I mean, like pillowcases, everything.
Yeah,
so I found out that the rights were available, and the guy who owned it was up for selling it. And we made an offer, we negotiated, and we bought it. Dope. So that's the first one we bought. And then the other variable is, does a potential property work with the properties that we already have? So like RoboForce gave us robots. Sectors gave us insects. So if there was another toy line of insects, I don't know if we would need that. So it has to feel organic, because what we're doing, if you really think about it, it's not organic at all. We're taking all of these characters, some of which were created 30 years apart, and we're putting them in the same world. So like in RoboForce season 1, the cartoon, there's cameos from Biker Mice, Sector. One of the main characters is a Sectorian species. You see cameos from Cowboys and Moo Mesa. So,
all right. That's the one I had never heard of prior.
Really?
Yeah, I never heard of that. Honestly.
Oh my God. I love, always love
from what era? What era?
Oh, it's from the 90s, and it had major overlap with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Biker Mice. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, maybe that was the era I was having fun with other things.
I had an era like that as well. Maybe not as short as it should have been, but I guess I should say as long as it should have been. But no, it was great. And the in the cartoon there were cameos from Turtles.
Oh shit! Okay, wait.
Yeah,
I got okay. I'm gonna be folks. See what I mean about this guy? He's making me spend money. This is what Brian Volk-Weiss made that for real. BVW. That's it. BVW. You know what I mean? You should got a gold belt walking around like the $1 Million Man. You know, because for real, man, making us, because those toys are the sex toys. Another thing that I had as a kid. So I'm excited. You're bringing shit back, definitely for my age, and I love Empower Lords. And seeing a new generation being attracted to that, and seeing those moments where I see connectability between parents and their kids, you know, on this type of stuff. Because, you know, these kids are finding, oh, this is cool. Oh, this one I was small. And, you know, you could sit down and actually watch something together, you know, and, you know, either they're going to enjoy it together or the dude's going to be huffing and puffing, you know what I mean? Or the missus. But it is what it is. And I think what you're doing is wonderful. I mean, did you also do that with that type of intent? Like, for some type of action?
Oh, yeah. No, I came out here to make Star Wars, you know? Like, not literally Star Wars, but I mean, you know, a lot of people come out here, they want to be a director, a writer, an actor. I always wanted to build a studio, and I kind of knew, like, structurally, I knew how to do it. I didn't know the particulars. So, for example, like, I've always known Warner Brothers, you know, they had this thing called the Keystone Cops about 100 years ago. That was their bread and butter that got them to Wizard of Oz and other big movies they did. For us, it was stand-up comedy. We started producing stand-up comedy specials over 15 years ago. And those specials that we retained the rights to and we own them, that gave us the cash flow to start doing all the shit we're doing now.
Gotcha.
It was all steps. Like, I didn't just wake up. You know, there's a reason I got gray in my hair now. We're talking about this. When I didn't have gray in my hair, there was no money to do what we're doing now.
I hear it. And that's the thing I want always people to understand. That's why I ask these questions, you know, and to learn the journey, that it takes time. Look, people understand it. No one. There is no such thing as an overnight success. No,
that's right.
Maybe, you know, all of a sudden they just happen to have a hit and they become, you know, overnight talk all of a sudden. But that doesn't mean they're overnight success. No, look at their journey. Like, Brian been in the game for a minute, and and he's definitely doing his thing now. As a comic book fan, you know, and loving indie, you know, I love the fact you're working with an indie publisher such as Oni Press. So, you know, talk about that relationship with Oni Press and why, you know, Oni Press and the Celverse.
So I knew Hunter Gorison for a while. You know, he was at Boom. Yeah, and we just always clicked. And then when he went to Oni, he got a pretty big promotion, and he and I had always gotten along. He had a lot of respect for what we were trying to do. Then, you know, we announced that Ryan Reynolds was attached to RoboForce. A couple months later, we announced that The Rock had joined Ryan Reynolds joined Biker Mice, and then Dwayne joined RoboForce. And all of a sudden, Hunter in the new job, seeing all the shit that we've been building for a couple years since we met, he called me. He was like, "Do you want to try it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And that's what happened. We met with 5 or 6 writers, all of which he introduced us to.
Okay.
Melissa Flores was the one I connected with. She got story, she got character. She also had a great sense of humor. Because of my comedy background, I always really try and have humor. If you watch the Marvel movies, they don't get enough credit for how much humor they used, especially in early days.
No, absolutely.
So,
I'm a comedy fan, so I laugh. And sometimes, I have people look at me, "Why you laughing?" I say, "It's just the delivery of shit, yo. You gotta watch how they say it. It's funny." It's like action and delivery does a lot, when they spread words. You gotta really listen with intent. Some people don't, that's what that's why I love a good story. I'm a story fan. So, if you deliver me a good joke, I'm gonna tell you, "Oh shit, you killing it." I'm a comedy fan. I love loving my roast and old school comedians, and watching stand-up shows, and so I love that background that you do this and look what you're doing now, and bringing that type of sensibility and fun back to comics and pop culture. So thank you. But this is what we need. So, stuff is getting too serious, man. Let's please have some fun again.
That's what we try to do with everything.
Though, so within the line, and Oni and then the Nacelle, like, what are we talking about? Like where are we going? Like, look, Jens is a creator, an amazing creator. He's overseas. Jens Richard Bunny. You gotta look up his book, just as it sounds. You just gotta say it with his accent from where he at Bunny, and it's really dope. Check him out, Jens Richard, amazing creator. He said, "Hey, check it out. I think you would. I think you would enjoy his stuff because it is very humorous." I found myself chuckling several times. Good people. So where are we going with the Nacelle Rush within Oni? Like, how many separate lines of books, stories, or miniseries? Are we getting any like consecutive, like long-term runs? Going old school. What are we doing here?
So we launched last month with Nacelleverse 0, and that established literally the whole Nacelleverse. So right. Garlou acts
ground zero for real.
Yeah. And my inspiration for that, do you remember back in the 80s, maybe early 90s, the Aliens vs. Predators series?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. I mean, that was a big deal when that came out to the dark.
Yeah, Dark Horse. Yeah, exactly. So if you remember, years later, they put out Aliens vs. Predator 0.
Yeah.
And it was black and white, and it's set because Aliens vs. Predator 1, if you remember, they just showed up on the planet and started
there, doing their business, and like, okay, they're just there, all right, whatever. But let's get it was 90s stuff, man. We gotta rock out.
That's right.
90s.
So 0 set up everything. So that's what we did. Nacelleverse 0 sets up the whole Nacelleverse. And every 7 or 8 pages, you see a new story, but Garlou acts as our guide. Coming out in about less than a month is RoboForce issue, RoboForce issue 1. And then there's 2 more issues after that. Then we go to Biker Mice. Then we go to Sectors. Then we go to Mesa. Then we go to Garlou. Every single one. So we're making these through the middle of 2025.
So is this 60s character? What's his name again?
Garlou, the great Garlou.
Again, another one. You're messing me up here, bro. You're gonna make me be looking again. You're making me okay. I'm gonna be as the couch potato. I might as well just sit in my bigger chair. But is Garlou like the Watcher? Because you're saying he narrates 0 issue. Is he a Watcher-rich type of character? Because he's also
no. He is the opposite of the Watcher.
Really?
He's a green.
Badass?
Here, I can show you what he looks like.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me put him on here on this main screen. We're about to get a good look over here.
This was our first version of him.
Oh, damn. Look at him.
Here's the deal. We did this. It's our first deal or collab with
Oh, dope. Woo! Check that out.
But dude, the original version It came out in like the 60s.
Yeah.
3.5 feet tall, made of metal. It had a remote control. It could lean forward, pick stuff up.
No way.
It had wheels. You could drive it. I mean, it was crazy.
60s?
In the 60s.
You
Yeah.
have this?
I do have one. I actually just finally got it a year ago. Yeah, they're very expensive, and they're also very hard to find in good condition. So, and as you know, the better the condition, the more the price.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was at PowerCon last year in Columbus, Ohio, and it was like getting towards the end of the festival, or the convention.
Yeah.
And there was like a guy who I know, I don't think he wanted to bring it all the way back home with him.
Yeah.
So we worked out a great deal.
Oh, dope. Look what Jen is asking over here. Good question. Can you get Brave Star or Captain Power?
Brave Star, very unlikely, because I believe Mattel or Hasbro owns it. I think Mattel. Okay. Captain Power is technically possible, but I'm not. I don't know if we could get a deal done with the rights holder. We've been talking to him. But B, I don't know if it fits in with what we're doing right now. It might, but it also might not.
Active video games, because I was one of the first. Remember back in the day? Because I remember going to a con recently. The dude had the whole interactive set with the TV. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stuff, man. Oh man, I love it. All right, bro, you're killing it. So. Outside of this, is there anything else you could tell us that you're working on? You know, anything else just in the Volk-Weiss verse?
So we make TV shows. We got a lot of TV shows, as you mentioned, Toys That Made Us, Movies That Made Us, Icons on Earth, The Center Seat. What's that?
So we got a lot of new seasons coming?
Yeah, we just had seasons 6 and 7 of Icons come out 2 weeks ago. And we have 3 more seasons of that. Toy Store near you that we do with Amazon. We have 2 more seasons this year that we're in production on. What else are we doing?
You stay busy, brother. Jesus.
Oh yeah. No, we had a great show just come out on the CW with Chris Hardwick called Up for Auction. Oh. So yeah, no, we got we got some stuff going on.
Excellent. All right, so what's up with the convention circuit? Are you going to be hanging out at any conventions? Maybe we could meet you, hang out, ask you some questions in person about what's popping off.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. Hopefully, we'll be at PowerCon. It's kind of my favorite convention. We're supposed to do something in Portland, and I'm sure we were just at WonderCon a week and a half ago.
C2E2 in Chicago, man. Come on down there.
I've been there. I've gone to it twice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love shopping there. I love going to panels there.
Yeah. We
had a panel there, and again, this was 3 years ago, so I should probably move on. They put us in a room that I would say conservatively held 1,500 people. The morning of, they changed our room number and didn't really tell anybody. So we ended up in this crazy giant room with, I shit you not, 9 people. And then we started on social getting all these angry DMs and comments like, I arranged my whole day around your panel and you're not even here. Like, what the fuck? So that was my experience.
Yeah, some cons don't get it right. You know, it's crazy. And what it says is they think Captain Power as a Space Marine view of the many species as in Warhammer. Okay, I guess.
Could be.
Jen already wants to work on it. Hey, get to work, Jen. That's what you do. You present the project. You don't talk about it. You show the work. That's what I always tell people. All right, show and prove, baby. Show and prove. So I love. All right, bro. You've been an amazing guest, bro. I really dig the energy. So yeah, but we're gonna be following you, showing the love, and folks, I've been showing it off. I'm gonna just tell you now, all right. You can follow Nacelle on Instagram at Toys Nacelle, also Nacelle Company. All right, there below. Visit the website, nacellestore.com. Spend that money. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy makes you spend money. You go there, and if you're a person of, let's say, of my age group or a little bit younger, like within my brother's age group, yeah. I mean, you got us cornered, bro. You got worse than a strip club. Jesus, bro. Check out the alien stuff right here at Marvel is what you got to check out, right? As well. I mean, dope work. Do I have to show you the covers again? I think I'm gonna do just one more time. So those beautiful covers. I mean, look at that. You got 1, 2, and 3. What if Burke lived? Look at badass right there. Wherever. I mean, right there, kicking ass, taking no names. All these these aliens even have names, personal names?
I don't think so. Either No Name or Bob. They're all Bob.
They're all Bob. Bend over, buddy. You're getting shot. There we go. Excellent, brother. Thanks for joining. My Crusaders, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you very much. This is Almega. Check out my whole family, Undercover Capes, as well, where we got dope podcasts covering, Marvel, DC, indie, K-pop music even. We do everything over there. And over here, we got all that, music, movies, and stuff covered in Comic Crusaders. You know what it is. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. Hueva!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.